What's up,
Hi,
everybody? Welcome to
everybody.
my channel. Welcome to the Money Chat with Ovalle. Happy Saturday, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well on this beautiful, lovely day. So, today we have a special guest. Well, she's not really a special guest, she's my wife, right? We are going to do this episode together, and we're going to be talking about a very important topic, and the topic is budgeting. How and why? Now, some of you probably are scared of that word. Some of you probably never budgeted in your life. But guess what? It's okay, because I was the same way until 2 years ago. When we got married, we started budgeting together. So you're not alone in this. It was not easy for us in the beginning, but it is possible, and we are doing so much better 2 years later. But we are going to get started. And I just want to thank you guys for coming in. I see about six of you or five of you are watching already. Feel free to comment. Feel free to ask any questions along the way. But we're excited to talk about this very topic that is very interesting and
Very important.
very important. So, hi, Kiana.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good,
You?
good, good. I'm good. So we're glad, I'm glad to
As
have
if
her
we
on.
didn't know that, right? As if we didn't wake up with each other.
I know, right? Cool, cool. So we are going to get started, guys, talking with the topic and the importance of budgeting, and we're going to talk about the why, right? And I'll let Kiana start off with this session or with this part on the why, and she's going to give you guys some tips, whether as a married couple, as a single person, and all that kind of stuff. So the floor is yours, boo.
Yeah. So, just like Emmanuel, I didn't really start budgeting until we got married in December 2018. And I mean, growing up, I didn't really know too much. I knew what money was, obviously. I knew you got money and you spent it, but I didn't really have a grasp on money management skills and what that meant, or what that even looked like, right? And even, I had both of my parents are awesome, and, I've seen them with money and without very much money. But I can say that I definitely didn't know what a budget was. I didn't know how to budget until Emmanuel and I got engaged, and we sat down and started discussing our financial plans for when we would be married. So, just to kick this off, why do we need Okay, we're back on. Accountability, right? So a monthly budget serves as a really good accountability. In simpler terms, it keeps you in check, okay? Monthly budgets help to identify unhealthy habits with money. So I know Emmanuel spoke a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago about healthy and unhealthy habits. Some of those habits maybe being overspending or underspending, binge shopping, and habits like those. So having a monthly budget helps you to see that. It puts it in view. What are you spending too much on? What are you spending too little on? Are you shopping for little knickknacks here and there every other day or every week? A budget can really show you that. And with that, the adverse effect is that a budget helps you to build healthy habits. So once you see what your spending habits are and you identify if any of those are negative, you're able to take a look at that, make the decision to change, do something different, right? And you can start building healthy habits, such as not spending money on fast food every time you leave work, or buying clothes every week when you have enough clothes in the closet. So, just those are some examples there. A monthly budget also serves as a visible financial plan, right? So every month you should have a plan of how you are going to spend your money. Obviously, we have necessities in life like food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and utilities, right? We need these things to survive. These things are what makes up our livelihood. So having a monthly budget helps us to track these things and how much money we spend on them. Also, you get to develop your mindset towards money, right? So I'll use us as an example. Growing up, really, I just saw mostly my father handling the finances. And my mom, like I wasn't really, we weren't included in in conversations about money. We were kids, so we kind of, that's why I said I knew what money was. I knew it was green. I knew it was, I knew it got spent. We got it, and if we worked, and we spent it. But I'm not sure what the conversations were like between my mom and my dad. I just knew that my dad really took charge on that. So because that is what I saw growing up, automatically my brain, it registers in my brain that this is how it's supposed to be in a household. The man is supposed to be the one who takes care of all the money stuff. And it's so interesting how much of what we see in our childhood transfers over into our adult life, right? And ultimately, if we do choose to get married or we have a romantic partner, a lot of that stuff is just going to pour into our romantic relationships. So I kind of got married with the expectation that Emmanuel was just going to control all of the, money and how everything got spent. And I was just going to okay it or say no, and that's it. I just spend the money and he controls it. But that's not at all my view anymore. I understand now that money management and creating a monthly budget, of having a financial plan, is a team effort, because both of us are working, both of us earn money, we have joint incomes, and we both spend the money every month. So definitely having a monthly budget, tracking your spending, will change your mindset. Not just change your mindset, but mature your mindset towards money. It also gives you more control. Okay, so I mean, I know I'm not the only one that has experienced getting a paycheck every other week, and all of a sudden you're like, where did my money go? I went from having $400, now I have nothing, and you're not sure what happened. Well, if you have a budget, you get to separate things into spending categories, and you have line items, and you can see what you're actually spending your money on, and you get to tell your money where to go, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Some other points are that you're less worried and stressed. Okay, so when you have a monthly budget and you know where your money is going, we want our money to grow, but we also want to know where our money is going, right? You're less worried and stressed out about how you're going to pay your bills, or how you're going to eat, how you're going to put food on the table, and all the other things that we tend to get stressed out about in life when it comes to our finances, right? So again, having something tangible, having a plan that we can see, really helps to just calm our nerves and understand how all of that is happening, okay? And it's easier to accomplish financial goals. So when Emmanuel and I got married, and we sat down and we created our first monthly budget, which was a little bit of a mess, okay? Because again, both of us never really budgeted before. So we were doing this not only together for the first time, but for the first time as individuals. So it's going to be a little bit messy in the beginning. Okay, look at our cat trying to, it's going to be a little bit messy in the beginning, but as we continue to budget every month, we were able to again see how much we were spending on things, and we were able to accomplish the goals that we had, such as paying off debt and saving for our emergency fund, or being able to give money to any of our friends that needed it or were struggling. Those are some of our goals. So having a budget just made it easier to accomplish those things. Now, a point that I wanted to raise is that for married couples who are budgeting, we have an extra layer of accountability there.
Yep.
You must do this together. Okay? Take my story, for example. I thought that this was his responsibility and I had no say and no part in it. If any of you follow Dave Ramsey, He has labels for people in marriages. You have the nerd who loves the spreadsheets, who loves numbers and loves to budget. That would be Emmanuel, obviously. And I'm the free spirit where I see money, I take it, and I spend it if I need to. Right? I don't care.
Or if you want to.
Or if I want to, right. And I don't care about budgeting or line items or anything like that, okay? That's just our natural instinct. So when it comes to making a budget, married couples, both are needed, okay? The free spirit is needed just to, what's the word that I'm looking for? Loosen up the nerd, right? Just to loosen up. And the nerd is needed just to, help keep things orderly. So definitely have those conversations together. Make sure you guys are on the same page. Number 2 is you want to know where your money is going. Okay. What is actually happening every month with your money? And you want to focus on what you need versus what you want. Okay. You need food. You need clothes. You need a house. Okay, or you need somewhere to live, but you don't need new shoes. Okay, not all the time, at least. You don't always need new shoes. You don't always need Netflix. There's a difference between needs and wants, and definitely having a budget can show you what is a need and what is a want. Okay, and it could also help you to save for the things that you want. You include those things in your budget. You don't have any unnecessary expenses that are not in your budget. Okay. You get to see how much you are actually spending. So if you are overspending in a particular category, for us, it has always been food. I think that's the story for most people, right? Like we love to eat. So if we're just spending too much on food, then we can see that in our budget. It'll either tell us that we went $100 over or, whatever have you. Then again, next point, you get to balance that. You get to balance your spending categories. You get to say, okay, well, we're only going to spend $200 on groceries this month and $50 on outside food. And, you can balance that and balance other categories so that you're not spending more than you're actually earning each month. The third point is that it helps you to save and pay off debts, okay? So any amount that is not spent can either go to savings, debt, or it can roll over to the next month, okay? So for example, if our budget for groceries is $200 and we only spent $150, that extra $50, we can use it to pay off some debt. We can put it in savings, or we can just roll it over to the grocery budget for next month. So we don't want to just take that $50 and spend it on whatever, because that's just not smart, okay? I personally see that as a waste. That money can definitely be saved, or if you have debt, you use it to pay off that debt, because we want to pay off debt as quickly as possible. It also helps you to prepare for emergencies, right? So a budget is like a cushion for any unexpected expenses. We don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know if we're going to get a flat tire or if we're going to end up in the hospital for whatever reason. So if you have extra money that you're able to put in savings and you have that cushion, then you are certainly prepared for any emergencies that come up. And lastly, you want to be able to pay your bills fully and on time, okay? Tracking your spending, focusing on your needs versus your wants, definitely help you to pay your bills in full and pay them on time. Because we've experienced this. I know a lot of Americans have experienced this and are continuing to experience this. Sometimes the bills come up and we're just not ready. We can't pay it and we just extend it, and that catches up with us. But if you have a monthly budget and you know how much money you need to spend and you're seeing that every month, you're able to pay those bills in full and pay them at the time that they are due. So what is the point of all of this, right? What is the point of having a budget? What is the point of having healthy habits versus unhealthy habits? Why does it matter? Because ultimately you want to break that living paycheck to paycheck cycle. Okay, that is not fun at all. And having a monthly budget, tracking your spending, paying off debt, saving money helps you on the journey towards wealth, right? And that's what we want. We want to be wealthy. We want to leave a legacy, build a legacy, and leave a legacy for the generations to come, right? And the key to financial freedom is healthy self-control. So really, the root of our habits, right, our unhealthy habits, is the fact that we just lack self-control. Yep. So we see money and we spend it on the things that we see on TV and commercials, or we go to the mall, we see something, we like it, we buy it, instead of just holding off and remembering what our priorities are. So the key to financial freedom is healthy self-control, and that begins with having a monthly budget. You get to tell your money where it goes. You get to control how that is spent. And ultimately, you get to control your financial future. So those are the whys. And now we can move on to the house.
Awesome. I hope you guys were able to catch everything what she said, and I hope it made sense to you guys. And I know it's not an easy thing for most people, especially if you don't have or you never budgeted before. But before I continue and talk about the how do we budget, all right? First off, I want to mention that I'm 34 years old right now, and I never had financial literacy from my parents growing up. The most I knew was, or the most that I was taught was, save a certain amount of money every paycheck to put it for a down payment on a car. That's the only thing I knew. I didn't know anything about credit cards, even though they owned credit cards and they were very responsible. But they never told me if I should get one or I should never get one. They just never mentioned it to me. I never heard of the word budgeting. I never heard of the word financial literacy. I didn't know anything. Even in my 20s, I was just clueless. And because of that, I had very bad money habits. And for other reasons as well, if you can go into my first episode, The Root of Your Money Habits, I speak more in detail of why I've had the money habits that I had, and it stemmed from your home, whether you come from a divorce home, a home that's just very luxurious and always buying the most expensive things, or a home that's just poverty level. You fear not having enough money, and so many different things. But you can go ahead and go back in your own time and watch that first episode. So here I am, so many years later. My one of my good friends introduced me to financial literacy back in 2012. That was with Dave Ramsey. I took the FPU class. I started listening to his podcast. But around that time, I was having a crisis in my life because my father had passed away. And I was doing other stuff, and I just couldn't get my life together. I was unstable emotionally and in so many ways, and I didn't really ask for help. And I didn't have anyone really who was on that stage that I knew, So whatever, I just kept making more poor money habits. And then in the years to come, I moved to Miami 4 years ago, and my whole life just changed dramatically in so many ways because I left everything behind to be closer to her. At that time, we were just in a relationship. And, I went from job to job. I had enough money saved for my for rent, but I didn't work right away. It took me like 3-4 months to find a job. I moved like 2 times. One time I was almost homeless or semi-homeless, so it was a struggle. And that's what really woke me up. I'm like, wow, like I can't continue this life like this. I'm getting older, I want to have kids, but we have all this debt. And when I marry her, we're going to have our debt combined, which was $67,000, So I'm like, shoot, we got to work on this. So prior to our wedding, we sat down, we went through the Dave Ramsey course, and we still do it now too. And we were just talking about, okay, how are we going to do this? What's the method that we're going to use to get out of debt? And we actually sat down with a financial coach after we got married, maybe a couple of months after we got married. And, because we needed help. We needed somebody that knows more than us and that can help us and guide us and help us write goals down. and that was a big thing for us, writing goals down. So in the budgeting part, like she said, it was a mess in the beginning. It was very complicated to us because we never done it. But it took us a couple of months, maybe 3 4 months to actually get it, and still overspending and whatnot. And to this day, I'm not gonna lie to you, we still kind of overspend on some things. Like food is the main one, mostly eating out. That's the main thing. Um, but whenever we overspend now, it's not something that we overspend. It's like, oh snap, we overspend like $400. Like that never happens.
Mhm.
It's not even probably maybe the most $100 over, you know. But we are better. We are better compared to before. All right. Now we're able to budget well. We tell our money where to go. What she was talking about is give every dollar a name. Like she mentioned, if we have $50 left over from our grocery money, give that $50 a name, savings, budget, or roll over for the next month. All you have to do is add 150 to the to that add on for the groceries. So let's talk about. I want to talk about two different methods of paying. Actually, I'm saying not yet. Let's talk about how we budget. All right. So there's different ways to budget. Again, we're only more familiar with one way because that's what we stuck with, and it helps us and it changed our lives. But there's many different ways and different apps out there like Mint. You have Every Dollar. Some people want to go old school and they just do their own spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, and they manually calculate everything on their own or piece of paper, or they want to put it on their phone. Hey, whatever works for you, as long as it's working for you and you're budgeting and you're not, going crazy spending your money, then that's what counts. So for us, we use Every Dollar, and that is an app that Dave Ramsey and his team came up with, and it's a very, very good app. At first, it may seem complicated because there's so many things to it, and whatnot. Now we have the paid version. The reason why we have the paid version is because we also have Financial Peace University and all the other stuff that we have. So that is included, So and we link our bank accounts to it, and credit cards. Well, we don't have any more credit cards, but anything that we have debt on as well, we link our accounts as well. And what we do is the very first thing in the top, it says, I forgot exactly what it says, but pretty much you have to write down all of the money that you're gonna earn that month. Like for sure, like your checks. If you're single, if you're married, you're gonna write down your checks. So for example,
basically your income.
Yes, your income. I'm looking at the Every Dollar app right now. It's the first thing is income. All right, you're gonna put everything that you're gonna own. If you have a side hustle, put a range of how much you think you'll make every month and whatnot. And then after that, under that, it's gonna tell you all the stuff that you're gonna be spending money on. All right. I have different categories. For example, my category, I have one of them is housing. So I'll put rent, like I'll put laundry, I'll put, the TV, internet and stuff like that. Those are all part of housing that we put on there. We also have food, grocery, restaurant, fast food, snacks, Then you have cell phone. Then I have car. So anything on the car, I put like insurance, gas, car supplies, sun pass, car wash services and all that kind of stuff. Then I have anything that has to do with subscriptions, right? Then I have debt. Right now, we only have 3 debt left, which is one of our cars, another, I guess, medical debt, you want to call it, and then a student loan.
Yeah.
And then after that, we also have a little slot on giving, whatever we give as a gift to anybody, whether it's to the church or whether it's to a birthday gift or whatever, we put that under there. Then we also have savings. We have it for emergency fund. And because we have 2 cats, we save $100 every month for the cats, in case of any emergencies happen or whenever we go for a checkup. That's the money that we'll use. All right. And then shopping, outing, Amazon, clothes, cat supplies and stuff like that, books. And then I have hygiene, like to the salon, products, dental, and then we have health insurance and life insurance as well. So You can add as many things as you want as whatever it is that you're spending. That way it can be nice and neat and in categories, you know, so
organized.
You're organized, so you don't be all over the place. And then the beautiful thing about this is that once you do that, it tells you on the very top how much left you have to budget, right? And it's going to give you the amount. And whatever left you have to budget, don't leave it at that. Give a name of where you're going to put it to, whether you're going to put it to the debt, whether you're going to put it to the savings, or you're going to put it to whatever it is that you want to put it to. And it's very important. Like, for example, one of the things that we like to do is eat out. You know, we don't eat out as much, but we realize that it's the way we set up of saying, oh, we're not going to eat out as much, or we're not going to eat out this month. We fail and we do eat out. You know what I'm saying? So we know that that's not working for us. So we came up with another idea. I was like, how about we're going to get another checkings account, because we already have one in a savings. We're going to get a separate checking account and put a specific amount just on that checking account for eating out every month. And that's it. If we spend everything before the month ends, that means we do not go and spend money from the other checking account.
Right.
That keeps us accountable. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with when we used to use cash for groceries. Whatever we spent, that money stayed there. And if we spent it all, we would not use it unless savings, debt, or roll it over for the next month. You know, and that's very, very important that you guys can do that when it comes to budgeting. All right. A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to budget because then it's limiting my freedom. I'm like, let me tell you something. If you're not budgeting and you keep going over budget and you're spending all your money, you don't know where your money is, you don't have freedom.
Yeah.
You don't have that doesn't sound like freedom at all. You don't have self-control. But once you budget and you tell you every dollar where to go, you have true freedom. Okay? Because now you're controlling your money. You're controlling where your money is going versus not knowing where your money is going and it's being spent. At the end of the month, it's like, oh snap! I can't believe I spent $300 in eating out when I could have gone grocery shopping. You know,
right. And that doesn't allow you to be flexible at all. Like if you're spending $300 on anything, unless it's an absolutely necessary thing, like if there's a medical emergency or maybe you're in school. Like if it's not necessary and you're spending $300 without even knowing it or just on a whim, then that's not financial freedom. You're allowing, consumerism and all these different things, what they're showing us on TV or now on social media to control you, to control your impulses. And that does not give you any room for flexibility. Like you can't even say, oh, I have $5. Let me go eat out, or let me go to the coffee shop and just sit down and, relax. You can't even say that because you spent it all.
Yeah.
So, but having a budget gives you freedom and it allows you to be flexible.
Exactly. And another thing I want to point out, which is very important, and most of us don't realize it, is that when, let's say we made a budget for the month, right? And we go to the store and, everybody loves sales, right? Everybody loves half off, 50%, buy one, get one free, or whatever the case may be. And let's say you go to the mall or any store and you see something that's half off, right? You see something that's half off and you want to get it. You get tempted. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get it. This is half off. And you pay for it. And you say, yes, I paid half off. I'm like, no, you really paid for the full thing because it wasn't in your budget. You know what I'm saying? You went over your budget to pay for something that you should not have bought to begin with, when you could have used that money for something else. And then that's something that you probably bought. You probably didn't even need it.
Yeah.
Based on the reaction that you probably have. Oh, wow, I'm going to get this. This is only half off or 10%.
And they tell you that you're saving.
Exactly.
No, you're still spending. You're just spending half of what that thing actually costs.
Exactly. And it wasn't in your budget. So you're really spending. You're not saving anything.
Right.
That's how they get you. It's all a psychological thing, and that's how it is. That's how they make money off of you. Consumerism, They want you to buy stuff all the time because it looks nice. The next new thing. It's like, man, like every other day they have something new coming out, but it serves for the same purpose. And we lose everything and we go outside of our budget, you know. And I know it's hard sometimes for us, you know. I know. Can we talk about some of the struggles that we had in the sense like, man, I want to buy this, but you know, we can't, or whatever the case, because we have a goal, you know. If you have a goal in life, especially in our case, we trying to pay off debt. Like, we barely buy clothes. First of all, we don't need clothes.
We need clothes.
Well, I mean, what I mean.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well, what we mean is that we don't need new clothes.
Yeah.
Unless something happens and just, you know, breaks or whatever the case may be. But most of the time, we do not need new clothes. We have enough clothes. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, if we spend money on new clothes all the time, you're really wasting your money. You're not spending it, you're wasting it. Because we all want to look cute, we all want to look good all the time. And that's nothing wrong with it.
And again, I'm sorry to cut you off, but especially for the ladies, there's nothing wrong with buying clothes. But again, focus on your needs versus wants. You need clothes, but you want a new pair of high heels, red high heels, green high heels, 6-inch high heels. Do you need that? No, you don't, especially if you already have 4 pairs in your closet already. Wear those, you know? So that's the difference. It's not, you know, no one is saying that you can't buy things, but if it's not in your budget, you shouldn't. And if it's not a need, if it's not a necessity, then you shouldn't. You can hold off on it until you can afford it and then include it in your budget so that you're not overspending. But if you don't need it, then don't buy it.
Exactly. And my mind tells me I need it. And that's the thing, Stephanie, thank you for your transparency. Because we all do the same thing. Oh, snap, I need it. This looks good. But it only satisfies you for the moment.
Yeah.
It only satisfies you temporarily. And then when you see something else that looks better than what you got, it's enticing. Better. It's enticing. There's always something better. And you're going to be like, oh, snap, I should have gotten this instead. But you don't know when something else better was going to come out. So you just got whatever was there. And then you go on for the next one and the next one. That's how we lose with money. And those are bad spending habits. And we communicate. Now, as she mentioned earlier, I'm the nerd. You know, I'm the nerd in the relationship. I'm the one who does the budget. She does not touch that at all. She don't want to.
We talk about it.
Yeah, we talk about it.
I don't put the numbers in.
Yeah, I put all the numbers in. You know, I put everything. It's exciting for me. I love to do it. And I'm not a money person. I'm not a data person. That's as far as you can get with me in data. I love that. You know, but at the end of the month, maybe a week or a few days before, matter of fact, today we have to get together and talk about it. At least a week or a few days before the new month, we sit down together and we have our own little meeting. I don't know, however you want to call it. And we look at everything that's going to be spent besides the mandatory thing, like our phone bill, our rent and all that kind of stuff. But we look at other stuff. Okay, what do we want to spend? Now, she goes to the salon, I don't know, like usually twice a month.
Yeah, every other week.
Or every other week. And then sometimes she'll do her hair. That takes like 30 hours to do, you know.
Listen, we got to look good, okay?
And then other stuff that she wants to do for, you know, women stuff, whatever. And I'm like, this floor is yours, okay? You know, now we got to talk about what's best on how much we should spend. And I put that in the budget. Now, that's not me controlling what she can spend or can she not spend. That's not controlling at all. It's all communication. If we have a goal to be debt free, we need to be wise in knowing that we're not going to be spending too much right now on this thing. Because if we do, it's going to keep delaying us to be debt free quicker or by the time that we want to be debt free. So it's all about communication. We don't hinder each other on what to buy. Now, there may be times that I may say, I don't think it's a good idea. There may be times that she says, yeah, I don't think it's worth even buying that right now, or it's not necessary. And she has a few times, whatever. Can you tell them? Can you tell them that one day? I don't know. I'm crazy. Can you tell them that one day when we went into, I don't know if it was CVS or something, and I wanted to buy something.
CVS.
I don't know what it was. I don't know. I think it was Walmart. We went in there, and I'm more of the person. Even though I'm the saver or I'm the nerd, I like to buy little things, even if it's inexpensive.
Was that when we were still dating? And
we were married. It was the headrest pillow. So go ahead.
No, we weren't married yet.
Oh, okay. We weren't
Marshalls.
All right, go ahead.
And I think I was buying clothes because I needed those clothes. I really did. And this man literally took a travel pillow, not with no plans to travel. Okay, he was not going anywhere, but yet he wanted this travel pillow, and he's like, "I like it. It's soft. Let's buy this." And I'm like, "No. You don't need it. You're not going anywhere. You're not touching a plane anytime soon. Put that down." And even though we were not married yet, but we were on that path, certainly. Okay, so those types of decisions, those conversations have to start even before then. But that gave me like a view into his spending habits at that point, and I was like, "Whoa, this guy, he buys like little things that he doesn't need. That's crazy." So it was a little funny moment. But it's things like that really show you, like, you know, what your habits are and the things that just attracts our eyes. And we don't even need those things, you know?
Yeah, that's so true. And I laugh at it now because I'm like, dang, like, even though it was like, what, maybe $10, I don't know what it was. Yeah. It wasn't expensive at all.
It wasn't.
But it's like.
But it's still an expense.
It's still an expense.
And you probably wouldn't have it.
Exactly. And when was the last time that I traveled in a plane? 2019 in December? Or 2019. Like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I laugh at it now, like, wow, I can't believe, you know. And you know what's funny though? I get this from my mom, because my mom, she's the same way, and she likes to buy me. Well, when I used to live with her, she would like to buy me little things like that. Uh-huh. So I kind of grabbed onto it, and when I see stuff in the store, I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is very nice looking or whatever. My favorite color, let me get it, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's like, dang, did I really need that? You know, and that's what you call a buyer's remorse.
You feel bad about
buying something that you shouldn't have gotten in the first place, because I said, like you said, Stephanie, my mind tells me I needed it, but your mind played tricks with you, right? And that is why it's important to budget, guys. I'm not saying you're going to be perfect at it. Work on it, you know, just like we did together. As a married couple, we spoke about it, you know, and listen, it gets easier over time. There's going to be days that you will maybe over budget on something because you want to, I don't know, you had a long day, or maybe you skipped lunch for some reason because you had a meeting and you really couldn't have to eat. And then you go ahead and buy some snacks or buy something. And that happens. But meal prepping is always important, right? Instead of buying so many snacks on your way out from work or whatever, why don't you meal prep during the week, or buy some protein bars or whatever the case may be that you can have with you besides having the actual dinner, the food. Because when you eat food, a few hours later, you may just get hungry again, or you want to snack on something. Mm-hmm. All right. Instead of buying something, have something set already for you to eat.
Yeah.
Which causes you to not spend more money. Mm-hmm. Even if you're spending $3 for 2 potato chips. What's up, Brianna? Great to see you. We're almost wrapping up, but you can always watch this after it's done. So awesome. But yes, that will save you money. To a Snicker bar, I don't know how much is a Snicker bar, like $1.50, $2 maybe.
$1.50, maybe $2.
Yeah, and then if we keep buying that, and that's nothing. Oh, $1.50, that's nothing. But if we do that often, you're gonna see that at the end of the month, damn, we paid $25 on snacks just like that.
Mm-hmm. Adds up.
It adds up. Trust me, it adds up. And you may think $25 is not a lot, but when you have debt, every dollar counts. Every dollar counts. Yeah. And I do my best to not buy chips, because I love to eat. I love to buy chips, especially the jalapeno, mm-hmm. the jalapeno chips. I love it. So I tend not to buy any snacks because I know I'm going to continue. Once I taste it, I'm like, shoot, I'm going to get tempted to buy another one.
And this is, just from a psychology standpoint, this is a behavioral thing, okay? I think Dave Ramsey also says that too, is that money management is 80% behavior. Is that what he says?
Personal finance is 20% head knowledge and 80% behavior.
Yes. So this happens to me quite often. Like I will leave, I'm a teacher. So after a long day of work, I'll get in my car. And what's the first thing on my mind? Food. What am I going to eat for dinner? Because I am tired and I am hungry. And because I am tired, I don't want to cook anything. Okay? So I'm literally having a conversation with myself. I'm going back and forth mentally. Should I just stop by somewhere and get something, or should I just go home and cook? And ultimately, most of the time, I would say 9 times out of 10, I will make the decision to just go home and cook something. And I always have food that's left over that I can eat the next day, either for lunch or just for dinner. And this is how a way that you can control your impulses to just buy things, and I use food as an example, but you can do that with almost anything. Okay. Clothes, going to see a movie, getting a cup of coffee, instead of getting a cup of coffee, buy some coffee at the grocery store. Boom, you have coffee for the rest of the month that you can make at home. You really have to just stop yourself when you have a temptation or wanting to do something on impulse, and we'll make a lot of excuses for our behavior. But if you're just willing to analyze and come to a conclusion, then that's just showing self-control instead of letting your impulses control you.
Yeah. So if any of you never budgeted before, hey, there's always a first time, right? You can feel free to message me on if some of you already have my Facebook or my Instagram, or if you know my number, you can hit me up, and my wife and I will gladly, we'll be able to help you. I'm more familiar with it than she is, so I'll probably have more stuff to say in that area. She can just be there, probably just watching.
I'll be the cheerleader.
She'll be the cheerleader.
I'm really good at that.
So we're gonna budget pom-poms for next time. All right, cool.
Wow, very funny.
But now, for real, if any of you want to learn,
you probably want to put the link to the EveryDollar app in the description after the.
Oh yes,
after the video.
Yes. In the description box, I'm going to put the link. EveryDollar, or I'll just put EveryDollar in the chat as well. I'm gonna put it, but I want to put it here in the chat. If you guys have an iPhone, I don't know if Google Play has it.
They should.
Probably, but I know for sure because I have an iPhone. You can definitely get the app.
Don't do Android people like that. They got every app that we have. Okay.
Listen,
don't do my Android
always,
people like that.
That's not always true because there's some apps that I want to get.
Apple elitist.
Yeah. I mean, before I was team Android for a long time, but because I had an iPad and a Mac, I was like, might as well get an Apple because everything syncs to my phone together. That's the reason why, and it's simple to use anyway. But if you guys want to learn how to budget, go ahead and type in everydollar.com. I'm going to put it in the description. But if you have
it's very user friendly.
Yeah, it's very user friendly. If you have you could go on your app store and get it. It's free. I have the paid version because I have everything that comes with it, besides just EveryDollar. And if you guys need help, feel free to message me. All right, we could schedule a Zoom call and we can work on this together. All right, and I'm not saying this just to say it, but I am willing to help anyone who wants to do this and who wants to do this together, whether you're single, you're married, or you're engaged. Listen, now is the time.
Yep.
Now is the time, all right? If we want to be serious with our finances, we don't want to be in debt anymore, or even if you don't have any debt, you still want to be able to budget and tell your money where to go every dollar. All right, guys? So any last words before we go?
No, I mean, other than I just encourage everyone to really check out the EveryDollar app. As Emmanuel said, it is free and you do pay for the extra features, but it is worth it. Very user friendly, very easy to use. And really, guys, this is so important, okay? Especially for my Black and brown people, this is very important. There are lots of issues in our community with poverty and living paycheck to paycheck, and we want to break that cycle and start building wealth for our children and our children's children and the generations that come after that. Okay, but that starts now. It's a lot of hard work. It is not easy. It requires a lot of sacrifice, but nothing that is worth having will come easy in this life. Yep. And once we understand that, we will be willing to work for the things that we want. So if you want financial freedom, you need to be willing to get up and put in that work. It's not just going to come to you. Things don't happen like that. This is reality. So it's super worth it. You know, we're going to toil, we're going to sweat, we're going to hurt, but in the end, we will see the fruits of our labor. So I just encourage everyone to check out the app. If you're just coming in late, watch this video over again. Check out Emmanuel's other videos on finances, and we'll be praying for you all. Definitely send an email to Emmanuel and I if you need any advice or if you just need some encouragement.
All right. So with that being said, guys, stay safe. I have an interview like in another 15 minutes. So if you want to hop on that one, if you want to hop on that one too, so be it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you have not. Make sure you like it and get notified when a video is coming up. And enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Peace.
Bye.